Lagos by night. Lagos never sleeps. The yellow buses honked, the loud shouts of conductors filled the air, and the glow of red and blue neon lights painted the streets. On Allen Avenue, girls in short skirts stood by the roadside, leaning on cars, flashing fake smiles at every vehicle that slowed down. Among them was Amina. She was only 24, but her eyes looked older, tired, and heavy with secrets. With powdered face, glossy lips, and heels that hurt her feet, she leaned on a broken streetlight pole, scanning the road for her next customer. For most people, Lagos nightlife was music, laughter, and pepper soup joints. For Amina, it was survival. Amina wasn't always like this. She grew up in a small village in Kwara State. Her father died when she was 12, and her mother struggled to raise her and her younger brother. Amina had big dreams. She wanted to become a nurse. But poverty strangled those dreams. At 16, a woman from Lagos visited their village, promising her mother a good job for Amina as a housemaid. With tears in her eyes, her mother released her, thinking her daughter would have a better life in the city. But when Amina arrived in Lagos, she was taken to a brothel in Mushin. At first, she resisted. She cried. She begged. But hunger, threats, and the beating from her madam broke her spirit. By the time she turned 18, she was fully in the life. The night was busy. Cars slowed down. Amina negotiated with a man in a tinted SUV. "How much for short time?" he asked in a husky voice. 5,000, she said flatly. "Ah, that's too much." "Then keep driving," she snapped, walking away. She hated bargaining over her body, but it was her only weapon. Her friend, Ngozi, another prostitute, whispered to her, "Men are scarce tonight. Lower your price or you'll go home hungry." But Amina wasn't ready to go cheap. Every night she risked her life, police raids, ritualists, violent clients, yet the money was never enough. Around 2 a.m., a black Prado Jeep pulled over. The glass rolled down, and Amina saw a man in his mid-40s, well-dressed, with kind eyes. Unlike the others, he didn't rush or bargain. "How much for the whole night?" he asked calmly. 20,000, Amina replied, testing him. He nodded without hesitation. Inside a hotel room, he treated her differently, no insults, no violence, just soft conversation. Afterward, he gave her 50,000 instead of 20. "Why are you in this life?" he asked gently. Amina froze. No one had ever asked her that. She looked away, blinking back tears. He didn't press her. He just left his number and said, "Call me if you ever want to leave this life." The next morning, Amina sat by her window, staring at the man's number. For the first time in years, she felt a spark of hope. Maybe she could escape. Maybe she could start over. But as she thought of leaving, memories flooded her sick mother back in the village, her younger brother who dropped out of school, and the madam she still owed money. She sighed. Freedom felt like a mirage. One rainy night, Amina got into a car with a young man who looked harmless. But inside, his friends were waiting. They drove her to an uncompleted building. She screamed, but no one heard. They beat her, robbed her, and left her half-naked in the mud. Crawling out, she realized she was lucky to be alive. She swore never to go out again, but hunger pushed her back to the street within days. She finally called the man in the Prado. His name was Mr. Tony. He offered to set her up with a small boutique business. For weeks, He gave her money and promised to help her find a new life. But Amina's madam found out. "You think you can just walk away," the woman hissed. "After everything I spent on you? You owe me. If you try it, I'll destroy you." Terrified, Amina stopped picking Mr. Tony's calls. She sank deeper into the streets, avoiding him. One night, Amina entered a car with a man who looked like a big spender. He promised her 50,000 for the night. She followed him without hesitation. But he wasn't just a client. He was a ritualist. By the time Amina realized, it was too late. They found her body 2 days later under Third Mainland Bridge, dumped like trash. Her dreams, her hopes, her chance at redemption all gone. News of her death spread among the girls on Allen Avenue. Ngozi wept. Mr. Tony heard the news and buried his face in his hands, whispering, if only she had called again. In her village, her mother received the news with a wail that echoed through the night. She clutched the picture of her daughter and asked the heavens, "Why my child?" The streets of Lagos moved on. The cars honked, the girls laughed, and the neon lights kept shining. But for those who knew Amina, the night she died would never be forgotten. Lagos swallowed her like it had swallowed many others. Amina's story was not just hers alone, it was the story of countless girls who came to the city chasing survival, but met tragedy instead.